Hi, Eric Wilson here, independent licensed mechanic with 30 years experience. In the next 6 to 7 minutes, I'm going to show you the inside story on this 2010 Ford Ranger. Coming in on the front right tire, you've got about 70% tread on aggressive snows and down a bit, but definitely not out. Coming behind the front right tire, this is the lower ball joint. It is tight, critical, because it holds the wheel to the chassis. This is the right outer tie rod, and it is tight, critical, because this is the only thing that holds the wheel to the steering. It is tight. The right sway bar link connected from here to okay, actually you've got your right sway bar link here is not connected. Okay, so that's something you want to address on this, because what this does, it dampens the sway when it goes around the corner. So you're definitely going to need a right sway bar link, and you're going to need a left sway bar link as well. So just so you're aware of it, the right and left sway bar link do need to be replaced. That's about a $300 job. Okay, so just that you know what you're looking at there. Okay, now this right outer CV boot is full of grease, and if it was ripped, you see grease all over the place. That is good and dry. The same thing with this boot right here. This is full of grease, and if it was ripped, you'd see grease all over the place. A little bit of oil here, but this is moisture from the motor, but that's definitely not ripped. This is this is the upper ball joint, and it is tight as well, critical. Part of the suspension. This right shock, now these shocks are full of oil. If it was leaking, you see dripping all the way down here, and this is good and dry. So brake-wise, suspension-wise, leak-wise, now other than the right and left front struts, I don't see any problems so far. Coming across to the left front tire, again about 60% tread. I would also recommend a little bit of wear on the inside tread. I'd recommend the alignment, okay, because this is wearing a little bit on the inside there. So definitely get your alignment checked, because it'll definitely take care of that wear issue. Okay, down a bit, but definitely not out. Coming behind the left front tire, left lower ball joint is tight, left upper ball joint is tight. The left outer tie rod is tight. The left outer CV boot is dry. The left inner CV boot is good and dry. Brakes, you've got about 20,000 K left on your front brakes. About 20,000 K left on your front brakes. So you've still got some good brakes there. Now, bottom of the motor, see for yourself, the oil pan here, if it was leaking, you'd see leakage all the way along here, good and dry. Bottom of the front diff, another leak point. If it was going to leak, you'd see it leaking right here. Here's a leak point where the drive shaft goes into the front diff, good and dry. Little bit of sweat here, nothing major, no active leak that I can see on the left outer drive shaft. A little bit of sweat here on the right drive shaft there, but no active leak. So your catalytic converter here, now nothing wrong with it. Trouble is though, people are reaching under there and going cut and going cut, and taking it to the wrecking yard and getting a couple $100 for it, and you, my friend, have got about $1,000 repair. Now, if you buy the vehicle and you can come to me for $150. I will put a stainless steel cables around this to stop people from stealing it. And you've got 2 catalytic converters that can go missing. And believe me, it's going to be not pretty if somebody steals them, and they do. So get back to me, and for like $150, I can protect your cash from being stolen. Okay, now coming down to the rear, your exhaust intact. I don't see any issues with your exhaust. Everything is intact. Tailpipe all together. You got your rear, you got your spare tire. Got your trailer hitch, looking good. Now coming to the right rear spring suspension. No cracks, no breaks. The right rear shock, again, full of oil. If it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down here. That is good and dry. The rear brakes, I'm going to say you got about 10,000 K. I mean, they're definitely down, not out, but about 10,000 K left. You want to be addressing your rear brakes. I don't see any leak. This is a leak point right here. If it was leaking because there's a seal in here, that you would see oil along here. That's no leak that I can see. Another leak point here is where the drive shaft goes into the diff. And a leak point would be right here, good and dry. Okay, so spring-wise, brake-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything. And on your right rear tire, about 50% tread on aggressive snow tires. Now coming across to the left rear tire, about 50% tread, a little less tread on the rear than you have on the front. Your left rear spring suspension, no cracks and no brakes. Your left rear shock, good and dry. About 10,000 K left on your brakes, definitely down but not out. No leakage that I can see on your rear axle here. Okay, so now the surface rust here, which is normal, I mean it's a 14-year-old vehicle. If you want, I can do an oil spray for this truck for $200, and that will stop all the surface rust from progressing anymore for at least 2 years, because it's oil, it's not tar, and it just never dries and it never stops creeping. Okay, you've got 232,207 K. So definitely not high K. No cracks in your windshield. Your AC is blowing. Let's see what the AC is doing here. Oh yeah, blowing and cold. Good. Now take you out and show you the condition of the motor. Okay, with the motor running, you got a 4-liter motor, which is a rock solid motor. Okay, shot at the exhaust of the motor running. No smoke, very clean. Okay, the next thing I do, I take off the oil cap and I want to take a look underneath and see if there's any kind of indication of white goo, which would be oil and antifreeze mixing together, which is a big problem. Walk away. Now, I don't see any indication of that, and I'm not surprised because these motors are very, very well built. The 4 liters are solid. And now, the only issue I find on this truck is your right and left front strut. And again, about $350 to get and $350 for that to parts and labor if you wanted to bring it to me, but I can help you with that, and definitely, and I can help you with the alignment as well. Back brakes down, but definitely not out. So anyway, all in all, I'm not finding any. That's what I'm finding with your vehicle, and I think you're getting a really decent truck here. As far as I can tell, it's been well maintained. Now the oil spray, remember, if you want it, $200, and that'll stop any surface rust, stop it in its tracks for 2 years, and for $150, I can protect those cats from being stolen. And trust me, Fords and that being out in the open like that are getting hit, and people are making money on it, which is going to cost you a whole whack of money. Anyway, hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. Thank you very much.